And I'm on the air. Hello, everyone. Uh, Today we're soloing it. First time. So, going about this by myself. But I do have some tech news for you, across the webs. Um, Give me a moment so I can pull this up for you. So, let's see here. Today's news consists of Mac rumors. So let's pull up a tab. Mac rumors it is. And today, Mac rumors. So Apple working on its 5G mobile chip, and it's not looking so hot for them right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if Apple can finally break away from Qualcomm. But patents are hard to work around. I read a portion of this article, and I wanted to talk with the community about it. So for years, Apple's been working on their own chipset. Then they broke away from Intel, and then after breaking away from Intel, they started doing their own chip. Well, now they want to do their own modem chip also. So right now, insiders, you can say insiders, they want to be able to take credit right now as for basically saying that Qualcomm's chips are a little too hard to get around. So Apple's 5G modem might be taking a little bit of a hiatus for a while, at least for this next segment coming up. From the looks of it, let's scroll down to see what more about the article is. So I'm not going to butcher this man's name, but he's saying from this latest survey indicates that Apple's own iPhone 5G modem chip developments may have failed. They got their chip making for their modems from Intel, and Intel didn't seem like they were coming along any faster also. So right now it could be that Intel chipset wasn't ready for prime time, and Apple's trying to force this to come to fruition a little bit faster, trying to get off the Qualcomm's bandwagon train. There might be some discrepancies with the way that Apple chips are going to be versus Qualcomm. Apple, the company Apple, is more of what I call a perfectionist. So don't look for them to do anything that's crazy rash that's going to take them out of that market or do anything against their market share. This is something that I've watched Apple for a while. They'll play the cautious game, which is they'll stay on Qualcomm until they perfect their own chip. So this is just, I would say this is right now, it's probably just a big hiccup in the road for them. Not nothing, anything too serious. It's you just paying Qualcomm more than you intended. But it would be nice to see a little bit more extra players in this game, in this field, in this game. So watch out, on the lookout for Apple chipset. It might not be coming anytime soon. It might be the iPhone 16 before they finally work out the bugs. But nevertheless, they're still trying to work them out. So now for today. Another article for today. I wanted to find out from the community, and you can leave a poll for this one. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, what's up? I kind of saw that you were talking about the Apple chip.
Yeah, so Apple is going to release is trying to release their own modem chip for their iPhones. Yet, I don't think they ever got around to perfecting it because Intel was having a hard time with it also. And studies to be believed, Apple bought the Intel segment from Intel for their 5G modem set, right? So trying to free themselves from the Qualcomm. I mean, hey, my point of factor is Apple is going to stay with Qualcomm until they perfect their own, no matter what. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree.
So I mean, it might be iPhone 17 before we see a perfected iPhone with a Apple chipset that's all their own. I mean, they're doing their own RF in right now. Like they're
I
doing
don't see them. I don't see them doing a chip on a phone until 2025.
2025.
I'm not playing.
Well, here's the thing: when there were iPhones in the wild, right? I think there were the GSM iPhones because at the time
the
you had
GSM the GSM iPhones
were Intel,
were, were Intel and CDMA were Snapdragon.
right? But if you had got a CDMA one, you could literally like put a SIM in as long as it was unlocked, and you would get the GSM because all the radio bands were there. But for the GSM one, Apple went with Intel trying to break away. You know what I mean? So they tried to break away, didn't quite work. You had iPhones that were underperforming on one side of the spectrum, another one underperformed on the other side. Apple does not like that type of inconsistency. So I could see them. I could see why they wanted to buy them, but the problem at hand comes that how soon will they be ready?
That's why I said 2025 because pretty much they're working on pretty much the 14's already done. They're working on the 14 next. I mean the 15 next year
Right?
and stuff like that. So that's why I say more than likely by 2025.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, up to a certain point. You know what? This could be just a momentary setback for this year. It might come out next year, like
I
the
doubt it.
next cycle.
I doubt it.
I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, this article came up pretty fast, where this would be in the middle of the cycle where they're building the new iPhones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I think that that would probably end up being their best bet currently. Is probably
Absolutely.
just go ahead and wait. I mean, pay Qualcomm, get your own stuff together. I mean, that's the reason why they came out with their own M1. They just wanted to
Mm,
get off of Intel.
yeah, but I think that they should wait till 2025 considering they don't know anything about Intel. I mean, I
Oh,
know
you
that
talking
they kind
about
of
anything? They
kidnapped.
don't know anything about how to build their chipset.
Well, I mean, as far as the wireless part.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: they're gonna probably hire the most dedicated, biggest brains in the industry to try to solve this problem. But it's probably coming down to a patent issue. It's probably coming down to where
Yeah.
like Qualcomm developed something and patent it, and Apple can't infringe doesn't want to infringe on the patents because then you're still paying Qualcomm. So you see what I'm saying?
Right.
The whole idea is to get away from paying Qualcomm. Is to become totally independent of anybody and everybody. But when you got those patents on board,
But
man.
my thing is because I know literally the 5G chip is one of the most expensive things on the phone. So
Oh
that's why
yeah,
I'm saying. that's why I'm saying like they want to make sure. I mean, I'm not. They're gonna try to make sure that it's perfect to a point where, well, not perfect, but make sure that they don't have the same issue they did on the iPhone 4 or whatever, where people were returning phones and stuff like that because there were issues with the modem and coverage issues.
Right. But like I said, that's the problem because when Intel did the chipset, I don't know which iPhones it was. Somebody in the chat is probably going to correct me. I have no idea which iPhones it was, but I heard
It
about
was
them.
an eight.
It was the 8.
Yes.
So you had people saying like, "Hey, look, I had my wife's iPhone that had the Qualcomm chip, and I had the, what's the name phone that had the Intel chip, and man, you talking about sitting right next to each other, and there was, speed differences, performance differences right there. That really does matter to some people when it comes at the end of the day. So it's either all or nothing now.
Right.
That's how I look at it anyway. It's all or nothing. Either you stay on Qualcomm until you perfect it, or you jump into the end of the water and hope that your customers don't notice. That's what I think. But hey, I don't know how long you're gonna be on for, but I wanted to talk to you about this. We briefly discussed this one. Like we
Uh-huh.
briefly discussed it, but I was still wanting to bring it up to the community about. Let me see if I can get this to cast. Hold on a second. Hold up. Choose a tab. Any tab. Alright, so here they tested two game changing electric car technologies. So let me see if I can pull this up without having to hit play.
So the car has just actually put its.
Alright, so here. So right here, basically the first tech is battery swap, right? Take your battery out of your car, raise that bad boy up, pull the battery out, slide another one in. You're done in 5 minutes, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the other one was, and this is going to take forever, but basically wireless charging your car. So if you're a car enthusiast and you like that whole idea of electric cars, I recommend going to fully charge. I mean, it's a very good EV focused show on YouTube. I recommend it myself. I do learn a lot. This video is gonna take forever. I don't have a strong enough laptop to do everything I really want to do, but they're pretty much what they're doing is they're charging the vehicle from the street. So basically, you just drive right over top of it. There's a skid plate on the ground, and there's a skid plate underneath your car, right? And then, bam, it starts charging. It does, I think it doesn't charge real fast, but it charges enough like this to say you want to go in and get groceries. You get some extra juice back into your car. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So my question to you, before I give my opinion, is what do you think? Which of these two technologies do you think is going to prevail? Are we going to be hot swapping batteries, or are we going to be charging batteries wirelessly?
It's probably going to be both at the same time. Both things are very, very new to this. They're some of them are new and then some of them are old,
Uh huh.
but I feel that everybody's going to learn from it, and I feel that there's probably going to have its troubles, but maybe 20 years from now, we'll probably laugh at it and probably it'll be a completely different story. I mean, it's still very, very new. And I guess people, I mean, right now, people are going to learn from I mean, the manufacturers are going to learn from their mistakes. And eventually, maybe in 10 years from now, it might be a thing of the past and things might look differently and stuff like that.
So you think that? So do you think it's gonna be just it's gonna be wireless charger?
Yes,
Okay,
but
because I
it's
mean,
going to take years for it to be perfected. I don't feel that it's going to be anytime soon, though.
well, okay. So I mean, here's the thing: battery technology, and I don't know. I'll take it that you probably don't pay attention to it as much. Can I assume that?
Yeah,
So I mean,
yes,
I pay attention to it. I try to anyway. It's kind of hard to find out who's doing what at what time and what companies coming out with what. But there's different battery technologies that are coming onto the market. You got some that are claiming they can get 600 miles to one full charge. The ones that are on the road today, I think like the F-150 Lightning and the Rivian R1T, which are two trucks. And then you got the Tesla, which is you know the king of the roofs right now. They roughly only get about 350 miles to a charge, right? I think the F-150 Lightning is getting like 250, so 100 miles less than even the Rivian. I think. Don't quote me. I'm just assuming from the videos I've watched, but the battery chemistry is always changing. But wireless charging, that makes sense. Constantly swapping out batteries, like that's kind of stupid, really. Don't get me wrong. There's gonna be other people that's gonna say something different. But if you look at it from this standpoint, everything in the auto industry is not standardized. You're talking about the bolts on the car have to be standard, right? Every single car
hmm
has to use the same exact bolting system that a battery swapping technology is going to have to plug into. But the wireless features are easier to standardize. Hey, we don't give more than this juice. Bam, you're not going to pull more than that. I could put your iPhone on my wireless charger at home and it'll work. You see what I'm saying?
right.
So I feel wireless is the future aspect, and it has a more chance of higher adoption. That's just me.
But the thing is that they have to experiment it in their testing labs or wherever they're doing it and see if it actually works. Because right now, pretty much anything that people buy are pretty much guinea pigs.
Well, I think that me personally, I think it works. I don't necessarily think it's a matter of what technology works. It's a matter of look at it from this standpoint. Let's say that you're a company, right? And you're like, yo, I got a fleet of cars. Okay. Now remember, every single time
Uh-huh.
you got to have somebody that got to get out of wherever cold place or warm place they're gonna be at, and either go out into the heat or go out into the cold and plug in every single car or plug in every single truck. You got wireless. They just park on top of the plate. Bam! It's gonna charge it on its own. Or you gotta wait for somebody to standardize everything so they can pull your personal battery off whatever rig that you have, and they got to build a whole new facility for just pulling batteries off for just you. And then you got to buy extra battery packs so you can have those charging at the same time, waiting for the next vehicle. Do you see how the logistics starts kind of getting churned up? You could just park the vehicle, it starts charging versus infrastructure. You got to build a whole warehouse to house batteries just so you can hot swap one.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know much about electric cars. I just know the what people talk about and stuff like that, but I really don't know much about it. And I could tell from what I've been little that I've been reading on like really see it's just recalls or some of the Teslas exploding down the roads and stuff like that.
Oh, look, that comes from the fact that lithium ion batteries are kind of like walking bombs. They're okay. So, not to give you a full rundown on how electric cars work, but lithium ion, like lithium, it doesn't like hot, extreme hot or extreme cold. Okay, so it loves to be just right. Well, you got to put cooling systems and stuff inside these things also that keeps the temperature roughly where it feels happy. Well, those systems are bulky and takes you basically got to use electricity to keep it happy, but you're burning electricity just to keep it happy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a weird catch, right? So that's the reason why there's other battery technologies coming about where it can take more of those extremes and don't really need extra equipment to make it stay nice and cozy. That's the best way I can describe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, yo, you're talking about thousands and thousands of battery packs in just one little area. That warehouse that you're going to store a whole bunch of batteries for battery swapping. Now you got to keep those either air conditioned or heated. You burn electricity just to burn electricity. That's how I look at it anyway. That's just me personally. But I think that it's gonna be very interesting when it's gonna be very interesting when you end up having these technologies coming about. But
Absolutely.
hold up, let me go into the next story here. Hold up, there go my mouse cursor. All right, so I know that you know about VPNs, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I was actually going. I was using the hell out of it over the week.
Hey, look, I know that you were having problems,
Right.
but I think Comcast is back to normal now, right?
Yeah. It's their normal. They actually fixed the issue yesterday.
All right. So, what VPN service do you use?
I really don't use VPNs to be honest with you, but I do actually have one on my phone called Tunnel Bear.
Tunnel Bear.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you heard of PIA?
No.
Okay. So, PIA is another VPN. It's actually a little bit popular. I end up using it because Linus Tech Tips was recommending it,
Uh huh.
and Linus was recommending it, so I was just curious about how anybody else that wanted to think about using it. But PIA is putting a server in every single state, including the District of Columbia, so you can VPN access from any or to any state and make your VPN, I mean your IP address show up as a Californian, a Texan. I'm from North Carolina, so a Carolinian, or even as far away as Maine. What do you think about that?
It sounds very interesting to be honest with you. I think I was using one that actually has one for almost every city,
Right.
every
So,
every major city. I forgot which one I was using. Let me see if I can pull it up.
all right.
Why was it It was actually called BetterNet Premium.
Better net premium.
Hmm.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I no, I have not. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I was using it for about a day or two, and then from there, finally Comcast fixed my issue yesterday.
Okay.
But obviously, since I did a trial of it, I don't recall the cost of it, but basically, I was able to get a 2 week trial from them, and I just canceled it on the spot through iTunes,
Well,
knowing that,
why did you cancel it?
dude, I really don't use VPNs, and I really don't care for them.
Uh, but you know what? I mean, the thing is VPNs are. I mean, me personally, VPNs are have their purpose. VPNs do have their purpose. I just think that you know, 50, 50 different addresses. Like, who am I? Who am I trying to run from?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason why, I mean, like, I don't pay for Tunnel Bear. Like, each month, I think they give you 500 megabytes per month, and if you tweet uh, them out or something like that, they give you an additional gig per month. So they give you 1.5 gigabytes per month.
So hold on. So
But
your VPN is data restricted?
yeah, but I hardly ever use it, dude. There are some times where I don't even open it per month. But the only time I use it is when shit, the only time I use it is when I use Spotify Mexico or a Mexican website to use. I don't really use it any. I don't use it for the U.S.
Oh, I mean, but
Yeah,
here's the thing. Like for me personally, right? I look at VPNs as kind of like what I call a necessary evil. But putting one in every single state, who am I running from? You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like, okay, so I use a VPN. So the VPN I use to try to live stream on the go is Speedify, right? But it do kind of let you choose which VPN server I want to kind of bounce from. But the thing is I just let it choose because really I just need the best performance. I'm not really trying to get away from someone. You see, or I'm not. If you're sitting in the coffee shop, you just don't want nobody inside the coffee shop to be able to see that you're browsing Facebook or Instagram or whoever your favorite artist is on Spotify. You don't want nobody in the
Right,
in the free Wi-Fi to be snooping in on your stuff. So why do I need if I'm in Portland, Oregon? Why do I need to act like my VPN address is in Tuscaloosa, wherever, Tennessee? You know what I mean?
right.
Why not have the best performance and I use a VPN that just basically connects me right there from Portland, Oregon? It's just I just don't want nobody to know what I'm doing inside the coffee shop.
I wouldn't be surprised if in another couple of years that places like Starbucks, Target, Walmart, basically anywhere where there's free Wi-Fi, they start blocking VPNs because at that point, like they want to know what the hell you're doing.
You talking about like a
And
Starbucks is gonna block it?
yes,
I don't know if they're gonna go that far. But I can tell you this much.
you'd
I can
be
tell you this. I
surprised.
can tell you this. I think that PIA is probably seeing the writing on the wall. And if you go ahead and put the
Mhm.
servers in place, right? So what's going to end up happening is they're going to just not let you choose which VPN you want to choose. I mean, like which area you're going to say, hey, look, I'm in the United States. Give me the best VPN that's close to me in the United States. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Instead of you saying, you know what, let me act like I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I literally am in El Paso. Like, why do you need to act like you in Atlanta, Georgia? Georgia? Oh man, maybe I might be BitTorrenting some illegal files. Well, no, sorry, son. It if you doing illegal stuff, then you might not need to you might need to do some other stuff to do your illegal acts on. Because VPN companies are getting the hammer brought down on them, man. They're these copyrights like movie studios are starting to go after them.
But I mean, like the only, I mean, I don't. I mean, honestly, I really don't care that other people look at my data. I mean, because I don't really care. I mean, I really don't care now when it comes to uploading free, like whatever was Google Photos when it was free or whatever OneDrive. I mean, that's where I kind of get iffy about it. But other than that, I really don't care. And I honestly don't even use free Wi-Fi anymore because 9 times out of 10, there's cellular coverage for that carrier at that one place. And like we have discussed with no radio before, Xfinity Wi-Fi and Spectre Wi-Fi, people are hardly using it anymore because people have now actually unlimited data on their phone. So people are going to use less and less of it, and that's why Spectrum and and Comcast are actually well deploying CBRS.
Yes, but here's the problem. So like, and this is a little bit more nerdy that I'm. Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever heard of this? But
Mm.
did you know that a nefarious actor, if they have the right tools, they can mimic a cell tower right next to you.
Uh huh.
So what they end up doing is they'll copy whatever a cell tower is beaming into your home, right? And then they will mimic like your phone can't tell the difference, which is why cell phones are not as safe. You see what I'm saying? So cell phones are not as
Mm-hmm.
safe due to the fact that it literally don't the tower does not authenticate with the handset. It just checks to make sure that your account's good and basically goes, "Oh, he's good. Let him go ahead and go." But it doesn't. But your phone doesn't go, "Hey, you know what? I don't recognize you. Why are you here?" You know what I mean? So it just connects to whatever it can grab. Well, VPNs will prevent anybody from being able to see your traffic, even if you're on your phone. So even if you're on Wi-Fi or even on your regular cell phone connection, no one can see what your traffic look like. So though that's what I see.
Yeah.
That's what I see VPNs used for.
Uh
That
huh.
that's just my anecdotal idea of what's going on. Is that how do you prevent, let's
I
say,
mean the average non-tech savvy consumer probably doesn't even know what the hell a VPN is.
they might not, but here's the thing, it's starting to become
They
more.
and some of them probably like we kind of discussed already in the past. They don't even know what the hell's a hotspot.
Hey, I'm not gonna go down the hotspot road this podcast,
I
sir.
know, I know, but my point is that the average person doesn't know what I mean. The average non-tech savvy person does not know what a VPN is, and if you were to tell them what it is, they'd probably think you're a hacker.
True, but I mean, here's the thing: VPNs have a necessary thing, right?
I mean,
Like, here
I
you go, here
mean,
you go. Like, case in point, I had like as an Uber driver, I get a chance to talk to a whole lot of different people, right?
right?
And I had some people, I had some internet security guys that hopped in the car, and I talked to them about what they call Black Hat. So Black Hat is kind of like a weird convention where literally, let me tell you, literally you go just to see how bad your security is. Okay,
Right, right.
so here you are, you literally go, you don't take your personal phone to a Black Hat convention. Okay, you wanna know why? Because by the time you walk in, you've already been breached.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. I would say the perfect consumer that probably uses a VPN is probably going to be the person that's at work and they don't want, and their employer doesn't want them. that person that's using their work Wi-Fi doesn't want them to use doesn't want them to identify what they're doing on the internet.
Right. Well, that's so you don't have breaches in security. But I'm talking about like the everyday person.
Yeah,
The everyday person
the
is
everyday person, if they're how do I say, if their coverage is they're staying at a fancy hotel and they don't know, and they're staying at a fancy hotel, and let's say somebody like Smead or somebody like that has a poor cell reception, and those type of people that are tech savvy are probably going to be the first to actually use a VPN. Let's say at a Marriott hotel, a Hyatt, or Ritz Carlton, those high end hotels, or any hotel in general, because they offer free Wi-Fi, or even the paid Wi-Fi is still insecure.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's so the everyday person can have a little bit more security. I'm telling you, look, as we've had the data breaches going on, right? Yes.
Right,
So not
but then you still also have those people that they want their Wi-Fi. So you have people that are addicted to the internet, like Dennis, that are addicted to the internet, and they don't care as long as they have access in front of them.
well, here's the thing. It it is more along the lines of comfortability right now. So like if you pretty much browse the web and you reading articles, you go into trusted websites, you're not gonna run into too many issues unless the website you visit gets breached, right? But the problem at hand is these are happening more and more every day. So with private internet
Oh, and they're only
access,
going to get worse because the internet wants more information while they innovate.
well, information is money. You have to understand, the more information that somebody has on you, the more
Oh,
money
of
they can
course,
make.
of
Which is
course.
why I'm not a big Facebook fan and I give all my information to Google. But hey, you gotta choose one of your overlords. Choose the rest. Choose the one that has the best security.
I
So
mean, I have a love and hate with Facebook, because obviously they own Instagram and Meta. Well, I mean Meta now, because that's the name of the company now. Meta, they own Facebook, Instagram, and at one point they were trying to buy Snapchat, but Snapchat said no,
yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Snapchat regretted it. So, but I mean, at this point, literally, Facebook copied everything Snapchat did and just threw it onto its platform, and now pretty much Snapchat is dying, which is kind of why they made a Snapchat Plus this past week. But nobody's gonna pay $3 for it, or $4 or whatever they're charging for it.
hey, look. Here's the thing: when you can't get enough information out of somebody, now you got to start monetizing the actual money out of their pockets.
Right.
That's kind of what the problem they're running into is. Snapchat is me personally. I'm not a Snapchat user. I don't want to come off and tell people that Snapchat's dead, but I think Snapchat's dead. you
I
know,
wouldn't say it's dead, but it's not growing.
well, I mean, it was cool because the idea was like it should the whatever you did didn't last forever, right? But
Well, I mean, the key idea is what the story feature was stolen.
yeah,
that's the key. That's the key to it all. The story feature was stolen. Even Twitter had stories, but they got rid of it.
right. But see
And
now,
TikTok recently adopted the feature.
I mean, everybody's adopted some type of features from all these different ones. Like look at YouTube. YouTube's copied TikTok because they realize TikTok is like technically it's the number one social app right now.
It
Facebook
literally is,
Facebook
and
is copy TikTok.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day Facebook ends up outgrowing TikTok in the near future through Instagram.
They probably will. I mean, here's the thing, um, I think that Instagram has a lot more longevity because all
Right.
they don't really have to reinvent the wheel. They just got to add in the features that people really want, right? That's pretty much what it is. Like people want to do videos, you know, Periscope was the thing, Periscope or what was the other one that Twitter had that was with Periscope?
Vine.
Vine. So Vine just came too early. You see what I'm saying? And
Vine
Vine
was actually very popular. I don't know
Vine
why
was very
Twitter
popular, but the
killed.
problem
I don't
was
know why Twitter killed it.
because multi-billion-dollar companies don't know what to do with it. Like what was it? Vine came out, they acquired Vine because they were the new hotness, and then they didn't know what to do with it. So I know what really happened. Nobody
Hmm.
wanted to pay the creators. Creators wanted money. Like, yo, I'm literally bringing millions and millions of people to you, and you're not giving me no money. That's what killed Vine.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Kim Kardashian is uploading images on Instagram every day, and she's not getting paid.
Well, here's the thing. It's not so much as getting paid. Influencers. So she's an influencer. So she uses Instagram for other people who pay her to put, like, her face on stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like a launching platform versus
But I mean, at
uh
the end of the day, like you're putting your image out there, and people are recognizing you still.
true. But here's the
I mean,
thing:
that's
if you
advertised.
don't, but if you're not gonna try to do something to appease your content creators, they're gonna leave, and that's kind of what ended up happening with Periscope. People just
Hmm.
started leaving. They're like, look, I'm gonna take my people over to YouTube, where I can do longer form versions of what I'm doing for 30 seconds and get more views, and then YouTube is gonna pay me for having people looking at my videos. We come to you like there was a whole hoopla about that one too, because Periscope people were like, "Yo, look, we think we should get paid," and they were like, "I don't think so." It was stupid, man. It was real stupid. But I got one more that I want to do with you. I don't know how much time you might have, but
I'm not on schedule right now anymore.
I know that you said you had fam, so I didn't know how long I was going to have you in here for. But this one has been roaming around our beloved tech community, in the Google Meet spaces for a little bit.
Hmm.
Let me know when you see it.
I see.
All right, so Sprint's network is permanently out of service, baby.
Uh
So
huh.
now, full disclosure, I know some people that are in different other pockets of the country, and they still have Sprint SIM cards, so they're still having access to Sprint's LTE. But I think that it's only a matter of time before T-Mobile really destroys the rest of Sprint. Like, they go ahead and put the spear into the chest. You know what I mean? But it was funny because as I was reading this article, um, I
I
think this was
believe next month they're supposed to be shutting down 100% Sprint, like the billing system and everything, and moving it over all to T-Mobile or something like that.
what's it say that last again?
I said I believe next month they're supposed to be shutting down the Sprint billing system or something like that.
They probably are. I mean, here's the thing: if you haven't already been notified or contacted, or somebody came in front of your house with a solar flare and was like telling you to switch, I don't know what to say to you now, because it was early on. A lot of YouTubers were, you shouldn't switch. The coverage is bad. Well, the thing is T-Mobile is a what I call a reactionary company. If you start complaining to them because you switched, they're gonna go bend over backwards for you. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I will admit, if you're in a major city, somewhat excited. You're probably somewhat excited. But if you're out in the sticks or whatever, you had a Sprint SIM card or whatever, or their service, and T-Mobile's not there yet, you're probably furious at this moment.
Why would you be furious?
because T-Mobile probably doesn't have coverage there. Like I don't know if you remember the story I told you last month when I went to my cousin's brand new house. My TNX SIM was actually roaming on band 26,
Uh huh.
and there was no T-Mobile coverage there, and this was maybe about 50 miles north of Houston, northeast of Houston, and there was no T-Mobile coverage there.
No, I understand.
And inside of his house, there was no coverage on T-Mobile or Sprint at all. And my cousin literally had Mint Mobile, which, knowing that T-Mobile has grown a lot, he thought that there would actually be coverage there, and I don't know what he's using right now, but he prepaid 3 months, and he was hoping that T-Mobile would actually work there and stuff like that, but it didn't work. And my
Okay,
dad had, uh huh,
so here's the premise of mine, right?
uh huh.
T-Mobile needed to get rid of Sprint, so they're not operating two networks. Now,
Right,
if you but if you
and eventually they're going to have way. I mean, right now there's way more coverage on T-Mobile than there was Sprint, one hundred
yes,
percent.
but here's the thing,
They're
it was gonna be
growing.
a bloody mess anyway. That was always the
Right.
problem because here's the thing, how fast do you move people over? You could do it the slow, arduous way and be like, look, you know what? We're gonna not disturb the customer too much. But guess what happens? You're still operating two networks that you're trying to kill off one, and you got the assets on one that you need to get a hold of, right? So Sprint is still active. There's assets being used for a customer base you're trying to shrink. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
my thing is either you rip the band-aid off and a whole bunch of people get angry at you, and you lose them as a customer in the first part, but you try to
but
regain them later.
yeah, and that's what T-Mobile wants to do. Like, obviously, like some people are very hard-headed and they're just gonna wait till the last minute, and it's either they stay with the company and go to a T-Mobile store and get the TNX SIM, or they look at other options, which would probably be either Verizon, AT&T, or even a prepaid MVNO.
Probably. But here's the thing: if you want, how can I say this? If you want better, more competitive pricing in the market, right? If you want better, you want your bill not to be going up. If you're a Verizon customer or a AT&T customer currently, right?
Honestly, if most people that probably have not upgraded to the TNX SIM or still on Sprint, those are probably the people that hardly ever use any data. So their best option is probably going to be either Xfinity Mobile or Spectrum Mobile.
Probably,
Because
but but here's the thing: you got to be in an Xfinity area or Spectrum
yeah,
area.
yeah, I know. But even then, like, because Sprint's pricing was one of the cheapest in postpaid. Because
Yes, but here's
I
the thing.
remember they had the Kickstarter for $25.
But here's the thing: that $25 and barely have any service. That was let me tell you this. The reason
Hold
the
on. I like to call Sprint the city phone.
well, T-Mobile was right there with them. But
Yeah,
that
they were neck and neck.
but what I'm
And
trying to
once
get
you
you to see
started
is
getting the
this.
forest, there was out.
But this is what I'm trying to tell. This is what I try to tell anybody that want to listen. Right?
Right.
As a former Sprint customer, I knew that Verizon had service everywhere that I needed to go to. But why did I stay on Sprint? I stayed on Sprint because it was more affordable, and Verizon at the time got rid of unlimited data. And I was a cab driver at that time, and literally I sat in my car for hours and hours and hours watching Netflix while waiting on customers, right? That was the only thing that I could do to keep me in the car without having to leave the car and then go into the house and being bored and stuff, right? So I had always
Right.
told people, I said, look, if Sprint and T-Mobile follow AT&T and Verizon in that road to get rid of unlimited data, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna be like, look, why am I gonna sacrifice my service and be in some crappy spot, and then look, I gotta tape the phone to the roof of my cab just so I can get a reception from an antenna that's like 40 miles away to let me be able to watch Netflix. Why am I going to do all of that if you're going to just act like anybody else? Sprint was basically just giving it away. I mean, $25 a month. Come on, dog. You knew exactly what you were getting. You knew exactly what you were like. Yo, there's this dead spot over there, but guess what? It's $25 a month though. You see
I
what I'm
mean, I'm
saying?
not gonna lie to you. Sprint had probably some of the best plans in the industry.
Yeah, but you couldn't use the plan. Like, yeah, you could have a lot of perks, but if you drive 3 blocks and you don't have any coverage, what are you supposed to do? What's up, No Radio?
Uh, what up?
Man, you sound like you laying on a couch with feathers
Yeah, of the duck variety.
of the duck.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I had the iPhone 5S, Sprint was a nightmare.
Sprint was a
It
nightmare.
it was a nightmare. I wish I was hoping that them Xfinity hotspots were everywhere.
Look. As a T-Mobile customer now, it was beyond me, right?
But man, I mean,
Whenever I hear
but
people talk about T-Mobile, I'm like, bruh, I literally, as a Sprint customer before I switched, I would drive through neighborhoods that I knew I had 4 LTE coverage. I had 4G coverage, and then all of a sudden, my phone would drop from 4G and LTE and go into EVDO. It literally would bottom out, bam.
it
I'm
was
an Uber driver.
horrible.
And
It
I'm an
was
Uber driver. I
horrible.
have to have data to connect. Sorry. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I have to have data to connect. And I don't have data in the areas that matter the most inside the city. I don't care what happens when I leave the city, but I'm in the neighborhoods of the city and I have no coverage. Yeah, that becomes a problem. I put up with your little 5 megabits per second. It was unlimited though, but you completely dropped out on me, and I'm at the metro stop. Nah, bruh, nah.
Oh, dude, I remember one time I got 28 was the fastest on my 5S, and that was it.
28
The
megabits,
28 megabits.
man. Look, I
But most of the time I was getting 3 to 5.
I damn near cried
So,
when I switched, man. When I switched, I had the Nexus 5. So I don't know if anybody know how far back that is. So I had the
mm,
Nexus 5
go
from
go.
Google. Okay, put my of course it's an unlocked phone. Put my SIM card in from T-Mobile, and was like, what in the world have I been doing? Sprint averaged between 5 and 10 megabits per second, and that was on a good day. Understand? That was nobody on the site, and I got 5 to 10. Okay, switched over to
Well,
T-Mobile and got 40. I was like, what in God's name have I been doing?
hmm so when I got the iPhone, because I went from the 5S to 6S, and obviously the 6S had Sprint Spark, or at the
Yeah,
time it was transitioning to LTE Plus, and which is band 41. And when I got the band 40, when I got the 6S Plus, it felt like a whole new network because Houston had a lot of band 41.
right.
And when I went, it was really good. The fastest I got on it was maybe 120 megabits,
Yeah,
120, 130, and I was like, wow, this thing is fast. But
but
my home tower it was severely congested. It was so bad, dude.
here's the thing.
It,
Here lies the problem, right?
uh-huh.
Sprint, because their parent company, when they bought them or bought a major share in that company, they had no intentions of upgrading them. So basically, Sprint was basically on its last legs before the merger even came was thought of. They
Right.
were looking to sell their parts. Like, if they didn't get the merger through, Sprint would have got sold off as like wholesale. That's exactly what was going to happen next because they were losing customers at a rate that was ridiculous. That's why they were giving away the farm. That's why you can get, $25 a month, and you got Amazon and
No,
what
no,
was
no,
it,
that was
Title.
$80.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
they were giving away Amazon packages and Title packages and all these
Uber
different. Yeah, they
credit.
were giving away everything just so they could keep people on. Like, yo, please, I know that our phones don't work except you stand on your one foot and lean out the door, at
But I will
45
say this.
degrees.
I will say this about Sprint: the last 3 years at max, they were, well, 2.5 years at max before T-Mobile said "I do"
Uh huh.
in 2020. Their network was the best
And where?
in Houston,
Yeah,
and they
I
were
want
the
you.
best.
You gotta remember something though, Brandon. The network was only even working at all because wasn't nobody on
Yeah. The more people, look,
it.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
wait,
The
wait,
more
wait,
people
Not
wait.
the more
compared.
people go get off of it, the better it becomes.
Look
No,
at the
but
total subscribers they had compared.
no, but it was really no, but no radio. Sprint's market share here in Houston was huge.
Doesn't matter. It still wasn't anywhere near the other
But
carriers.
you also have to think about it on radio at the time, because at the time there was not that much of there was not a lot of streaming as there was now. And I mean, even Sprint didn't even have
2020 in 2020, yeah, yes, it was.
There was a lot, dog.
In 2020, dog.
There was
I
a
mean,
lot.
but at the time they were already throwing the customers on T-Mobile as well, because remember, they were doing roaming. My
Yeah.
Sprint phone was actually saying band 71, 66, and 2 and all that other crap. And they were even using that famous dish Spectrum as well. And it was good. And one of the things that I had on the 6S that I was shocking, which I was like, finally they have it, was voice over LTE. And I'm not gonna lie to you, their voice LTE was really good.
Check
Now
this
I
out,
will
Brandon. Do you know what their market share was total in the U.S. before the merger? Total market share in the U.S.
20%.
12.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
That's my
They
point.
weren't everywhere.
Ooh. Dagger.
They was not everywhere in no radio. They were not
No,
in
Look,
no
look, look, look.
no,
Dakota.
no, 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 no. They had subs in every single state. It was just only 12% of the total market.
That's
I
true.
mean that.
I mean, here's the thing: if they had like, in Houston, if they might have had customers, but come on, compared to your other competitors, like it was
They didn't
probably
even get.
pennies in the bucket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any network looks good when nobody else.
Hey, look, here's the thing:
You were the
Sprint,
last
Sprint,
ones on the highway, so it looked better. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
yeah.
But
Look,
no
look.
radio, it was actually good. Now I will say
I didn't say it
this.
wasn't. I'm just telling you why it was.
No, but when I say, like I told Evan the other day, when I went to Baltimore, it was a whole different experience. It was slow as hell.
Because there was a lot of still Sprint customers on Sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, why the hell is it so slow here?
I mean,
I'm gonna tell
that's
you
the
all
Now,
you
like
got to
reason.
do. You
like
want
I've
to,
said before.
if you want to see the Sprint effect, all you got to do is go to a very poor area and then get on Verizon, and it'll be blazing because ain't nobody on it.
No radio, but what I'm still trying to understand is why does Verizon have millimeter wave in the hoods?
Oh, because
Because
the permits are easy.
yeah. Hey, look. Let me tell you something,
They gonna
man.
have caseworkers on there or what?
Oh
No,
wow.
no. It's well. The point is, they wanted as many places they can get it in the first place. So whenever they started filing for permits, they realized they don't plan. They plan out whole areas at a time. They don't plan neighborhoods. They plan the whole city what they're going to do. When they file them permits, whatever clears is what goes.
Right.
So they're not going to just stand still because the spots they want the most don't clear.
Well, here's
They'll
here,
put
here
whatever
you go. Here you
clears.
go. What no radio is equating to is this. So like take downtown DC for example. Like I was telling him, like places where I think millimeter wave should be at is not there,
Yep.
right? But when I drive over into the hood, I'm like, well, I'll be damned. Why is that there?
Because
But
there's
that,
nobody fighting
but
going
no,
in.
yeah, because there's nobody, putting tooth to nail, going, trying to, rip off an octopus arm to try to get in there. so it's easy for them to put it up. But shoot, try to put a millimeter wave downtown DC. Yo, you might turn into an old man before it gets put in,
Mm-hmm.
because the city cares more about its iconic look and feel than it cares about underprivileged and underrated areas.
I mean, would you put a pink house in a neighborhood
I mean, if
or
you
a
don't,
pink
People do it
building?
every day.
people do it all the time.
They do it all the time.
Now here's the
Not
thing: if
here.
you because your area is probably ran by HOA,
If you got an HOA, that's what stops it.
HOA stops it.
Guess what happens with them millimeter wave nodes? HOA stopping them shits too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But guess what? Majority of Washington D.C. is not HUD, or I mean not HUD, but HOA. So yo, they literally just go in there and drop them in there, no problem. They just be like, oh, put that in. Whoop, we're gonna put that over there too. That's
I
why.
mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't want millimeter wave in my neighborhood. I mean, imagine like there being 40 poles in one street, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Like they would literally put millimeter wave poles on them damn mailboxes.
No, no. But you know what? Me and No Radio were speculating this, right? Is
Right,
that okay? So because Verizon did not have anything to really counteract
right.
T-Mobile's N41, right? They're actually playing a longer game by just messing up anybody else that comes in and want to do millimeter wave also. So you basically annoy all these municipalities to the point that when, let's say, your rivals come in and ready to put millimeter wave up, guess what they're gonna run into? They're gonna run into 10 times more headaches than you did. You put one up. You see what I'm saying?
But that's why, like I've said before, I don't care for millimeter wave.
But it does have a purpose. Like I'm not gonna say that
I
it
mean,
doesn't
I
have
mean,
a
I mean,
purpose.
it is good, like for stadiums, malls, colleges, universities,
Well, here's the thing.
in some
I
cases, even high schools.
I can tell you this much: the millimeter
Right.
wave has range if it's line of sight. It has good, decent range if it's line of sight. There's there's a antenna that's off on top of a apartment complex coming into DC, and it really looks right over the freeway. And every single time I run into stop and go traffic, I hit that millimeter wave node all the time, and I get about 1,500 down. And but the upload is slow. So my speculation is this: put millimeter wave on macros, but you don't have to get the upload back on millimeter wave. You get it back up on midband.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that T-Mobile's doing with N41 and N71. Is it stretches N41 out, but it doesn't have to return your data doesn't have to return on N41. It comes it comes back on N71.
Bullshit.
Do what?
Sorry, I ain't talking to you.
Oh,
Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the millimeter wave is also I mean, I can't say a fairly new toy, but I feel like the only one that's really pushing it, and I guess it's gonna stop for a little. I mean, is gonna focus more on C-band is Verizon, and then T-Mobile hardly has it anywhere.
well,
I
no,
mean,
no,
there's
no, no,
probably only 100. There's probably less than 100. I mean, 50 sites where they have a millimeter wave
no.
on
But I'm just
T-Mobile.
saying, like you see it more as a capacity layer. You don't
Right.
it becomes a
Right.
capacity layer. Even from a macro site, it still gives you more capacity.
Right. And I mean, I could also say that where I mean, like even this past couple of weeks, we've been seeing that T-Mobile's been doing over a gig, which is honestly better than AT&T's millimeter wave. To be honest with you.
But here's the thing: they don't necessarily have to keep doing what they're doing right now. They're probably
I
inching
mean,
up higher.
in the long term, it does benefit them.
My mic check, nice. No radio.
Yo,
Was that you?
me what?
Did you turn on your computer?
No, sir.
Who did that?
It was a
No, it's
message.
not me.
There was a text message, sir.
Um,
Not a computer.
has a loud text message.
And my fuck, my ring will work on my phone.
All right, you sound cranky as hell.
he could be eating his barbecue ribs right now, but he on this meet with us have to deal with our shenanigans.
Nah, it ain't y'all. It's these damn women folks asking to get cussed out. That's what they do.
Oh, don't cuss out the women, folks.
You gotta give them a good one every now and then when they start running that mouth.
Don't cuss out the women, folks.
Shit. I didn't say beat them. I just said cuss them.
Yeah, but I'm still, we.
I cusses them.
But yeah, no, I'm just saying, like in general, that I just think that all the frequencies should be put out there so we can have better networks, right? It's just that I think that focusing on millimeter wave was Verizon's only play, and then now they pissed off everybody, so now nobody else can come in and do it too.
They'll do millimeter waves
Who?
in T-Mobile, AT&T.
They will, but you have to understand
But
those permits are going to be
anytime
harder to
soon.
get.
And I hate to say this, fellas, but by the time they start deploying millimeter wave, it's gonna be way better than what Verizon's doing now.
That's true.
The technology's gonna be better.
I mean, look, here you go. Why did Verizon have to go and take Nokia down and put Samsung up?
Because the technology was
Well,
trash and they improved it.
and they
had to
improved
do
it.
again. So yeah.
So that's what you call jumping the gun too soon.
Yep. It's gonna backfire. Being first to do it is gonna backfire.
So I mean, sometimes it pays to be first, and then sometimes it pays to wait. Which take the Apple approach. You know what I mean? Wait until everybody's done it, and then come out and make it seem elegant. You know what I mean? We have a back button where you swipe backwards. My God, who would have ever
My
thought?
God, you've done it again. You genius.
They've done it again, people. But yeah, I'm just saying, man. It's just that that's just my opinion on it. I don't see it really doing anything extra except maybe being more capacitive in certain spots. But they might as well just hang them suckers from macros and call it a day. They really should. Don't worry about them. Just put them on macros and let the technology evolve. But let me see if I can pull this next article up. No, I don't want.
Okay, one more article, then I'm gonna have to go because it's kind of late for me.
All right.
I'm going to the beach tomorrow.
Uh-oh. What beach you going to? You going to where Elon's running his test for his rockets?
I wish. No, I'm going to Galveston.
Okay.
There's no millimeter wave over there
None?
at all. I don't even think there's C-band.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Is that a top PA also?
I mean, it's part of Houston.
But is it part of Houston's PA?
I don't know, to be honest with you. But I will say, I mean, Galveston is. I don't know how to say, but it gets extremely full during the spring break and major holidays, and the when it's hot. And I know that sometimes when it's on N41 or whatever, sometimes it's not even usable when there's so many people there. And I remember going into Rainforest Cafe, which is a Landry's restaurant. None of the carriers worked in there. None. Yeah.
Hmm.
Finding the limits of Dish's new 5G network.
Yep. So we've had it. I know of three people with Dish. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
one we all know is in Vegas, but then another one's in Pennsylvania and another one's in San Diego, I think. Right.
No, Central California.
Central Cal, SoCal.
Yeah.
So from talking to these guys and their experiences, we're starting to see what Dish can do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to, go around the board real quick and find out how from talking to those guys without because obviously I'm in an area they don't have service yet. So and then No Radio is in an area where they do have service, but he doesn't have service to be able to test them. What do you think of Dish right now, and is it comparable to what this article is describing over the 120 cities that they are currently in?
Based on the testing that I've seen, most people are roaming on AT&T,
Right.
and our one friend that lives in Vegas, it's pretty good, but I don't think there's that many people on it at all. And like we like the name of this is wireless. I mean, the name of this is wireless right now is Project Genesis, which basically means it's in beta.
Right.
So that's why right now people are dealing with the hiccups, and that's why it's pretty much priced
$30 a month.
$30 a month. So it's basically Kickstarter pricing.
Right. But I mean, like, okay, so in this article, I guess somebody was giving their opinion. So they said, given how buggy the setup process is, and they unboxed their Project Genesis Galaxy S22. They've been testing it in Spokane, Washington, and they
Hmm.
said the network is objectively failure or soaring at success. It's kind of like it's hit and miss. You know what I mean?
I
It's
mean,
hitting and
honest.
missing.
I mean, honestly, if it weren't for AT&T's roaming, people would probably break their phones and probably dispute the charge.
But I mean, they do need AT&T's roaming so you can have
No, but
something to
what I'm
fall back
saying,
on.
no, I know, but if they had no AT&T coverage, people would be so freaking mad.
That's
But
true.
most of these people that are testing Dish Wireless are literally tech savvy people.
They are. I mean, come on,
They
look.
don't
Tech savvy
they
people
don't
are. We are
they
bleeding
don't
edge people, dog. Like we're
they,
right on. We sometimes live on the knife edge,
right.
right?
They don't want non-tech savvy people because at that point you're useless. But like I've said before, dude, there's not that many sites here in Houston at all. And Houston was one of the cities on there, and there's hardly any dish sites here in Houston. All you mainly see is AT&T, Verizon, and what was left of Sprint.
But here's the thing: in central North Carolina, where No Radio resides, he's seeing them like every quarter mile.
Hmm.
You see, so it really
My
depends
thing
on
is, it's
how much
probably
focus.
yeah, it's probably the permittings and stuff like that.
Which I mean, I don't foresee them having a whole lot of issues being able to get on existing towers. They're not going in and putting new towers in. They're on existing towers. You know, I just think that I think Brandon left, but I do think that it comes down to how fast they're going to be able to move. Brandon's
Hmm.
back. How fast they're going to be able to move and get their more of establishment in each one of these cities. I
Hmm.
mean, if Greensboro is a testament to their ability to really expand if they need to, apparently No Radio's is seeing it like every quarter mile, which is actually how you want to set up your network.
Yep.
I mean, I I really want Dish to to uh to be the fourth competitor, and I hardly want to see it roam on AT&T because I know someday AT&T Stank is gonna probably stick at them and be like, "Hey, your customers are using too much data," and stuff like that because obviously the Boost Mobile customer does not have unlimited data.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
We've heard some people say that after 35 gigs, they're either at 2G or they're out.
But you know what the joy of this is that they still got T-Mobile in the back pocket too. So if
T-Mobile doesn't
AT,
like its MVNOs.
hey, look, understand something. It's still money, dog. And you
They
you
don't
don't you don't
like
think
it.
you don't think dishes will put T-Mobile against AT&T if it comes down to it?
But the thing is, dude, if Dish Network I mean, if Dish Network offers truly unlimited data, then at that point they're going to be almost the same pricing, if not more expensive than T-Mobile and AT&T.
Yeah, no, because you can have better roaming agreements put in
But the
place.
thing is that they want you to be. The thing is that they're gonna charge him a premium to be on there, and Charlie is very cheap. He's a very cheap person.
But
Look, he got rid of the regional sports on Dish Network. He has problems with locals, and
uh
he's had a lot of characters deals fail.
true. But here's the thing: he can't let this fail the same way that he's probably been running Dish, where it a lot of people are literally leaving traditional TV. Okay, so I think that
But
Dish
but but
and
but, but the thing is that people are going over if you advertise, hey, get unlimited data for $40 a month, truly unlimited data on Dish Network, and they go over there, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get this big discount, and I'm gonna use the shit out of it. Once
yeah,
they use the shit out of it, and they realize that they're on that same boat with Xfinity, that Xfinity Mobile does after those 20 gigs, they're probably going to be pissed, and it's going to be almost the same story as Nova Radio told us last week when he said, "Oh, all of those Spectrum Mobile customers are coming back to us and saying they miss our network."
that's true.
They're the heavy users.
Yes, the heavy users
The
are
heavy
going to be
users are
the
all going back.
exactly.
But you know what? But here's the thing: it's kind of like you're caught in a catch 22, right? So you
Mhm.
offer this $30 a month. People, if you let's say you get people that are starting to use it now, if you start
Dude,
getting
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the terms and conditions change
oh no,
in a
they've
couple
already
of
changed
weeks.
them. They changed them what within the
But
first. They changed them within the first couple weeks when it came to the phone. Like what was
no,
it? I
I
guess in the
know, but
terms and agreement, like the S22 that people expected the phone to be unlocked after
But
30 days.
Boost Mobile has always had the policy: if you want your phone unlocked and it's a flagship or a mid range or whatever, it takes 1 year to unlock it.
Right. But here's the thing: they didn't put that in their terms of service early on. And then when they got people to getting it, and they were like, "Yo," they were
But
calling in talking about, "Hey, I want my phone unlocked." They had to
but
go
you
back and update their terms of service.
but you know why they actually did that? Because they know that if they were ever on Dish Network, it was probably not good.
Exactly.
And obviously, the person that's tech savvy is not going to want to stay on Dish Network.
And I
I mean,
present something to the classroom.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's somebody in the Winston-Salem area testing Dish, and it's on Cell Mapper.
Oh.
And I just want to point out, anybody who knows Winston-Salem knows this is all rural. Where
I
this map is drawn, not the city. The city's not rural, but where these towers are showing up, it's rural.
Mhm.
I've driven through Winston Salem, but I didn't stick around long enough to be like, what's going on?
Here's the person testing in Winston's maps
What in the
so
Jesus
far.
name?
This is Dish Network.
Oh my God.
And this is going down the highway on I-40 into Bermuda Run. So if you look in the Winston area, look at the tower spacing at the moment.
That's a
God damn,
that,
that looks like a Verizon network.
yeah.
And
The
as you
the
get,
spacing
you
is
see
very nice.
the spacing's very nice, and this is just what they've logged so far.
See, we don't
This
have
is
nothing like that here in Houston at all.
yeah. So even this Bermuda Run area, this is technically one town, and this is a small area. There's two sites in the one town already.
Mm.
This is basically this whole town is nothing but a golf course subdivision. And they've got two towers from Dish already.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we don't have that here.
that's why I was saying that there's more sites here. He just hasn't mapped all of it. But this is what one person has mapped already. This area up here, this is all more rural as well. The only part that's not rural is what's actually in Winston here.
Right.
So this
I
is
mean,
just an example. And this person apparently, because I'm looking at one person, they apparently traveled to Greensboro once recently, and then they went back, which is why it shows them mostly mapped over in Winston. But this is on the outskirts of Greensboro where this tower is.
Mm.
mm,
I actually know exactly where this tower is located. So, uh,
You've hit that tower through your travels.
yep. It's like this whole stretch. That's what I was getting at. They're not just building in the middle of town. They're also building along all the highways. They're doing all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I've said before, I hope Dish Network pushes themselves to be the actual fourth competitor in the U.S.
Here you
And
go,
I
Brandon.
hope.
Here's
mm,
Houston.
See, I don't travel the southwest part of Houston. It's too rough for me.
Look at look at the tower spacing though.
Oh shit! I go Chinatown.
Yeah, that's good tower spacing on that side of town. And somebody drove up in here, north side.
Well, that's near where Carter lives.
Uh, so it's coming along.
I know that I've seen there's one over there in Texas City,
Uh,
Florida.
Florida.
yep, somebody's mapping right in here.
Hey,
So
I
once
wonder
again,
if
this is still
anybody can
dense.
find out if Dish is near Orlando.
This
Near the.
is this
Is that the part?
this okay. So villages is near. So Ocala. Hold on. We're not far from Orlando, where this mapping is. We're right by it
Hmm.
because here we go. Here's Orlando. So it's nobody mapping in Orlando right now. But 30 minutes out, there's Dish.
Mm.
20 minutes if you take the toll road.
Oh, you good old toll roads all over the place.
I know that there's about maybe about almost 2 miles from me. There's a dish site from by me.
Hmm.
But compare Vegas and look at because
Oh
Vegas
my
was first.
god!
Look how Vegas has gotten
Whoa!
mapped. There you go.
Wow!
There goes your Vegas.
Good
Look how
God.
tight that grid is already.
Wow, that looks like a whole sprint.
That's all I'm saying is, look, I mean, this is dense, bro. That's what I was saying. There's probably sites, like I said, that people aren't riding, really paying attention, know what equipment to look for. There's probably these other cities are probably pretty similar to this. It just hasn't been mapped.
What
Mm.
about Los Angeles
L.A.
or California? Oh, look at San Diego.
There's nobody mapping Los Angeles. Somebody's mapping San Diego though. There's gonna be like
That
four
might
sites.
that might be our friend.
No, he's not in that area.
Oh,
No,
okay.
he's not over there. He's not over there.
He's gonna be up in here.
No, he's
No,
not
no,
there.
no. That's an accident.
He is not there. Southward.
Well, we need to tell him to turn on his cell mapper as, as he's working. So
Spokane, Washington. Let's see what Spokane's looking like. Yeah, I just think a lot of the stuff just ain't been mapped yet, but they're popping up.
Well, look, anybody who's a Dish user, turn on Cell Mapper and let it run in the background for a while, so we can find out where
Ooh, the Detroit.
these cell sites are.
Mm.
Okay.
Detroit and Michigan. Somebody's mapping in there.
Hey, what about Cleveland?
One.
Wow.
Ain't nobody mapping it right now.
I mean, yo, look, I'll tell you this much. I probably wouldn't use it as my daily driver, but I would use it to give
Ooh,
feedback though.
Kansas. Look at Kansas.
Charlie would have to pay me to use it, not him, not me paying him.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, that's close
I
to
see.
where Sprint was.
Yeah, cause Kansas was a Sprint town.
Yeah, that's where they're
That's where
headquartered.
the headquarters were.
Yeah.
Over in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh
Oh
wow.
man.
Mm-hmm. Like I
So
said, it's dense. It's a dense grid. So that's why I say it's better than most people think. Is what my answer is.
Yep, they're
Certainly
putting up them
more than I
mozzarella sticks.
ever expected from them. I
right.
never expected it from them. They even went into South Dakota,
Oh man.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh shit.
Them
Ah.
And
wide
some of
open
these,
spaces.
if we gauge this, some of these sites are as close as the airport runway is long.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you see, we got an airport right here, and then we got these sites about the same distance of the runway. Actually, closer than the big runway.
And you know that they're probably stretching some of these also and
Yeah, exactly.
still getting good coverage.
Yeah. So imagine two sites, one on each end of an airport runway. That's how dense they're building in some places. Lancaster, PA, one site. Who mapped that? Is it one of our boys?
Maybe. Maybe. I know we need to tell them to start turning cell mapper on so we can get a better look. Don't it supposed to be in Richmond, VA?
They didn't show anything on the map yet. People aren't mapping it.
Man.
You know, if you don't want to work.
But yeah, I'm kind of glad that it's starting to show. Like I said, me personally, Dish is going to be more of a disruptor for AT&T and Verizon than it will be for T-Mobile.
Baby bump starting the show.
Yep. Yep.
Charlie's pregnant.
Well, look, understand something. That bouginess that Verizon was having, I think that you're gonna start seeing some different colors.
You're gonna
They,
start seeing Verizon with cornrows.
yeah. Not cornrows. Dreads. You're gonna see her with dreads.
They about to get back to the streets. They're gonna be on TV talking about where you at.
Yep. Not can
Where
not
you at?
not can you hear me? Where you at?
It's gonna be. Can you feel me?
Mm.
Can
Hey, look,
you
look.
feel me now?
We put a millimeter wave near your house. Can you feel me now? But no, I just saying like in general, like yo, it's nice to see competition. Hey, look, anything that can keep my cell phone bill down, I'm all for, right? But my thing is I don't think that it's gonna necessarily hurt T-Mobile as much because they're trying to be the cheap network in the first place. Build the biggest network you can at the cheapest price. But Verizon is bougie, and AT&T is stubborn. They basically looked at everybody and was like, "Oh, hey, are you trying to rate? You're not raising prices on people because we're gonna do it. Who cares?" But
They're going out of style.
yes, they're like, "We don't care."
There's a new trend in town, and they didn't catch the boat that they was going out of style.
But yeah, hey, look, I want to say